LaDonya Reed, Sacramento City College.
Jenna Goodman, Napa Valley College.
Elizabeth, Napa Valley College Secretary.
Middlester, Napa Valley College Senator.
Fahad Ahmad, and Napa Valley College Legislative Advisor 2 and also delegate.
Arturo Castillo, Solano Community College and delegate.
Christine Barroso, Solano Community College.
Laura Duran Gomez, Solana Community College.
Phil McCaffrey, Solano Community College.
Oscar Bates, Solano Community College.
Joel Powell, Solano Community College Advisor.
Sunesh Prasad for Comes Officer, Sacramento City College.
Omar Pena, Advisor for Napa Valley College.
Introduce yourself.
Tyler Goodface, American River College.
Tanika Bird, American River College.
Antonio Maldonado, American River College.
Ginger Train, American River College.
Bianca May, American River College.
Lucia Barada, American River College.
Chris Torres, Sacramento City College.
Woo woo.
Aaron Steinbach, American River College.
Keisha Allen, American River College.
Lori Bates, American River College.
Michael Pagas, American River College.
Greg Olenson, American River College.
Aaron Wheelenberg, Mendocino College. Publicity.
Olivia Gover, Sacramento City College Senator.
Leonel Edwards, American River College.
Those that came in late, will you introduce yourself while you're still?
Angela Miller, Sacramento City College.
Kevin Cahan, Sacramento City College.
Brad Morrell, Sacramento City College.
Were you?
Connie Patterson, Mendocino College.
Me first.
Yeah.
James Johnson, American River College, Region 2 Senator.
Katie Sue Contreras, Lake Tahoe Community College, Region 2 Senator.
I already said myself.
I'm Janine Young. I'm the past Region 2 Senator, Board of Governors member.
And Kira Ruby, American River College delegate.
And I'm Debbie Dixon, I am your region chair. Can I have all one of these extra chairs, please? Will my VP when he gets here? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call it to order, because we are.
9:22.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Call to order at 9:22. Roll call, please.
Give me the thing. Can you record? I don't have a record. Oh, okay.
Hey, that works.
Mendocino College,
Present.
Folsom Lake,
Absent.
Napa Valley.
Here, over here.
It's your delegate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
American River,
Present.
Yuba,
Absent.
Sacramento City,
Here.
Solano,
Here.
Lake Tahoe,
Here.
Woodland,
Absent.
Cosumnes, Sierra.
That was, we do have quorum. Okay, moving on to item 3, adoption of the agenda.
Oh. Shoot.
I move that we adopt the agenda
No,
for
no, no.
April 28th,
She has to do it.
2012, Region 2. I second.
Wait.
We need that.
I'm just distracted. Secretary has it up. They had to take it, just see up on
I'll second it.
Somebody's gonna have to move to amend it then. A motion to amend.
Okay.
What's the amendment?
Yeah.
Action. It's 6.
Striking the secretary.
6.1. Secretary.
Second.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I'd like to amend action item for 6.1, elections or removals, to remove secretary,
Yeah.
from the agenda.
Okay, I have a, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to, amend the agenda, striking from 6.1 secretary position. He has not, vacated his seat, he just was unable to travel here with us. I thought he was leaving. All those in favor of the amended,
Aye.
Aye.
opposed? Okay, so the amendment stands now. I need a
Tell
motion.
them.
I
To
motion
adopt.
to adopt the amended agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the amended agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The, agenda has been adopted. Unfortunately, we don't have the minutes.
Introduce it.
Oh, sorry, okay. I'm gonna take a time out real quick and introduce to you, our vice chair. You don't say who you are.
Stand up.
Cofield. How y'all doing?
All right, so we, don't have a copy of the minutes. They weren't sent to me in a timely fashion, unfortunately. So I need a motion to postpone.
I'd like to motion to postpone, the last region minutes. What was the date? Remember the date?
Oh, we didn't have quorum for last.
We didn't have
We
quorum
didn't
at the
have
last
quorum.
one,
Okay,
so.
so,
Yeah.
so that's all we have. So I apologize. Okay, so we're going to move forward past this part since we didn't have quorum and didn't have a meeting. Okay, we're gonna move to,
What about, can I move to put this on the agenda?
it should have been.
What is it?
No, it's not.
It's not,
So I can make a motion to
amend.
We've
to
adopted.
add to the agenda the Middle Class Scholarship Act
I said that.
for discussion and an action item.
I have a motion to
I second.
add to the agenda the middle class scholarship,
If,
as a
if the
discussion
body,
and
if the-
action
if the
item.
group votes for it, you can amend it.
May we suspend the orders of the day and go back to the adoption of the agenda?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I make
So I need a motion for that.
can I say a point of personal privilege? Can everybody speak louder when they're talking, because I don't think everybody can hear in the back
Yes.
and up front, so.
So we have a point of personal, privilege to ask that everyone stand and when they speak, and speak as loudly and clearly as they can, please, so that everyone in the room may hear.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the orders of the day and go back to the adoption of the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to go back, to suspend the order of the day, go back to the adoption of the agenda so that we may, revise it and make an amendment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're going back to item 3, adoption of the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add the Middle Class Scholarship and discussion and an action item.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to add to the agenda, we will make it 6.1 and move everything down for a discussion and action to be taken on the middle class scholarship. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, we'll move forward now. Okay, we're gonna go back to the order of the day. We're at item 5, public comment. This is the opportunity for members of the public to address Region 2 on items already on the agenda. Please be aware that there is a 2-minute time limit on discussion of each item. Action may be taken on these items at any time. At this time, does anyone have any public comment? Seeing none, I'm gonna move on. We're gonna move on to 6.1, which is the middle class scholarship. I've had, someone pass around copies of these, hold on to them, Because after we decide, we may either be filling these out or maybe not. And one of our regional senators, Senator Patterson, is going to discuss and brief you on the middle class scholarship. It is one of the resolutions in your, hopefully you've read your resolution packet. It is a resolution coming before the SSCCC today in our resolution session.
Do you wanna bring that up? So my name's Connie Patterson, and I'm the Mendocino College Ambassador, and I'm also the Region 2 Senator. And some of you already know me, and I am hoping that after the presentation about middle class scholarship, that we as a region will move to support it. Have any of you, all of you heard of the middle class scholarship, or any of you not familiar with it, or? I see a show of hands. Who's familiar with the middle class scholarship? Okay, so a lot of you already are. Okay.
But Napa Valley would like to know a little.
Oh yeah, well I'm not gonna just skip over anything else. That's why Erin is so gracefully bringing this up here so I can do a presentation about it.
It's in my seat if you want. It's in my seat if you want.
If we can get all this plugged in and working.
I guess I need to stand over
And
there.
there should be a number right here.
I don't know what it's being used for.
Nothing. The lights went out. Just kidding.
So I apologize for this not being
I'm gonna
set
go
up.
walk around the room.
This projector already in the room set up and you can turn the projector on, because it takes a little bit to warm up. You know, I think maybe we can skip the presentation, if you don't mind, and because a lot of you already know about it, and I'm just gonna talk about the middle class scholarship. Is that all right with everybody?
Yes.
Okay, great. Then we can move on to the resolution stuff, so, which is the most important, which
Yes.
middle class scholarship is included in that. Okay, so the middle class scholarship was brought about by John Perez, the Speaker of the Assembly, who's gonna be speaking at our at our general session tomorrow. And it is AB 1500 and AB 1501. And the AB 1500, a few years back in 2009, California decided to give a tax break to corporations that are outside the state of California. And what the middle class scholarship is doing to fund itself is it's going to rescind that. It's going to take back that tax and tax them like they were being taxed. And that's where the funding for this is going to come from. Okay, and so it is about families who make from $0 to $150,000 a year. Families, not just one individual. That's $150,000 is the stopping point. Will be there are students that are. Gosh, I just woke up every day. Sorry. Let me take a deep breath. Everybody can take a deep breath too. Okay, so families that earn that much annually, they don't qualify. There's ones that don't qualify for any scholarships or they don't qualify for FAFSA or BOG waivers because they're living with their family. They're under the age of 24 and can't get anything to go to school. And so it's the families in the middle class section are having to go into a poverty because they're trying to put their kids through college. And so what this middle class scholarship is proposing is to create these scholarships from this fund, from this outside corporation tax, create the scholarships so that these families are gonna, will keep this, income levels like this instead of the huge gap we're getting between poorer and richer that we see in the United States today. So it's gonna make it so that gap stops, and it's gonna help these families who get this scholarship to be able to put their children through college, and the funding that's left over from the middle class scholarship will go into Cal Grant, which is really, I think, is a really great idea. What it will do, it will save 42,000 UC students, nearly $8,000, $8,200 per year, 150,000 CSU students, $4,000 per year, and will provide $150 million to community colleges to improve affordability. Okay, so that's a lot of money And, I think it's a really good idea. And I'm gonna just stop right now, and if anyone has any questions about it, if I wasn't clear enough, yes?
Yeah, I was just wondering, in the resolution, it
She said,
stated
"Who are
that it would be given to, I believe it said districts to, improve affordability, excuse me. How do we ensure that that is what the districts will, or the regions will, use it
The
for?
districts, because it's earmarked for that. It's something that they wouldn't be able to take it and use it for other
So what
funds.
specific things could be done in order to improve affordability? What does that refer to?
To improve affordability for students to come to college.
Yeah, but like.
What are they gonna be doing with it?
Yeah.
To improve the affordability? Well, it's mainly geared toward the student who cannot receive BOG waiver or FAFSA. Because they still have to be claimed on their parents' income tax. I don't know if you're aware of that. How up until the age of 24, there's a huge gap, and I myself personally have known 2 or 3 students who have waited until they were after 24 to attend college because they could not, their family just couldn't afford it, you know, there's just no way. There's a girl at school right now whose parents, you know, one of the father just lost his job, so they have the tax bracket from last year, the mother's working 2 jobs, and she and her brother can't go to school. You know, so it's trying to cover that type of situation, which is, that's a large part of our population in California. Did I answer your question okay?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Quick question, maybe you can provide some light on this. I was under the impression that during the Obama administration, it had gone up from 24 to 26.
Did the what?
That had the dependency age had gone up from 24 to 26, so now it's even higher at 26, I believe.
Oh, is it? See,
Right.
I'm not aware of the
I've not heard that.
26-year-old, is it?
I haven't heard that.
I
We
haven't
can
heard that,
check.
I'm not aware of that, as far as I know, it's still at 24, but if that's the case,
Now,
that's
this
even.
gentleman right here just educated me, it's just on healthcare, it's just for the healthcare reform, so apparently the
Oh,
dependency
okay.
age doesn't apply to
Okay,
education reform.
but you know, that could happen in the future, who knows? Right. It's still a large,
Just out of curiosity, do you know how much they plan to raise taxes on the out-of-state or corporations or companies who are operating?
oh, and it doesn't say how much they're planning to raise, but it was $1 billion annually that the tax break was set at in 2009. It was a $1 billion tax break per year. So, that's what they're hoping to get back, is the $1 billion annually.
And when was this tax break instituted?
This was in 2009.
Okay.
It was corporate tax laws. Yes.
I attended the middle class scholarship, breakout that they had yesterday, and the information that they provided said that currently corporations can pick how they pay their taxes. You can pay it on the property that you have in the state of California, the amount of employees that you have in the state of California, or on the sales tax revenue that you generate in the state of California. They wanna close that loophole, make it where everybody's paying it on their sales tax, from my understanding. Because if you, you know, there's out-of-state corporations that may have one office in some building and employ maybe 2 or 3 people, and then they can just say, okay, well, this is how much taxes we're paying because we're only claiming these 4 people, or we've got this 12,000 square foot building, or whatever.
Even though it's like a company like Marlboro.
Right, and so this will make it a standardized thing where everybody will be paying from that same set tax rate and way of paying taxes, and so
And what tax rate is that?
that would be, they wanna do the sales tax revenue one.
Right, but how much is that? Percentage
That I'm not positive about. That I'm not actually positive about, but you know, it's like, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
I have 2 questions. The first of which is, how would students of the middle class be able to apply through this? Is it through FAFSA or is it a separate application?
No, it wouldn't be through FAFSA because it's the state of California and FAFSA is federal.
Okay, so this would be through an online application,
It
or
would
would
be
it
through-
be through financial aid, or do we know that yet?
You know, I don't know if they know how they're gonna, do you know how they're gonna implement the scholarship to the students?
No, I think that would be.
That would be up to
campus.
each district, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
and how they're gonna do it, so it would probably be an
We gotta get the
application
bill passed first.
process, the same way that Bob is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my second question is if we tax these corporations, how would the consumers be affected by the tax of the corporations? How would that be passed down to the consumers? Do we know that? Do we have a projection of that?
We're not taxing them, we're just taking back, we're just rescinding a tax that was put on them. They used to have, they had this tax, okay, so they already were doing this. But in 2009, the state of California decided, oh, we're gonna give them this $1 billion tax break for whatever reason. And now we're just taking that back. We're saying, okay, we've had the tax break for this so long, now we're gonna take it back, and this is what will happen. This is what we're gonna do. Yes?
Do you know what the difference is for sales and revenue in between before the tax break was implemented and after it was implemented?
I do not know that information. If you have a question, there is a middle class scholarship website you can go on. It's in John A. Perez's website, and then you can click right into it and learn more about it, or contact them and on the website and ask that question, because I do not know that. And I won't answer stuff that I really have no idea. Kinder's next? Oh. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to clarify, my understanding on this isn't a new tax being imposed, this is simply taking back a tax break and closing loopholes which allow them to, for lack of a better word, cheat on their taxes.
Yeah.
I personally, even if you don't support it from like that financial point of view, from an ethical point of view, I think that's to be expected that if corporations want to be in California, then they shouldn't be finding ways to pay as little taxes as possible, especially when we can't do that. I can't move
And
my house
the reason why
around
they
and
do
make
that, they
money.
move out of California because California is expensive here. And they move out so they can pay less, but then they bring their business here because they know that's where they make most of their business. So.
It's a tricky business with online businesses because they are online, they can kind of place themselves wherever it's cheapest and get away with selling in all over the country. But I think that, I don't think that's fair, especially since the rest of the state's struggling, that they have a $1 billion tax cut and they have all these loopholes, while your average person can't even go to a community college because it's just too expensive. And so I urge you to support this.
Thanks.
Olivia. Okay, I got it.
Oh, you got it?
Okay, no, Olivia.
I was actually just wondering, if somebody were to be in opposition of this, what would that standpoint be based on? What are the cons? I haven't only looked at it.
Well, we just wouldn't have a middle class scholarship.
Well, no, I mean, I'm sorry, I mean,
And
why
the
would
corporation-
somebody not support this?
Why would they not?
Yes.
I don't know myself, because I'm in support of it. I at first was wary about, where the money, how the money was gonna be dispersed. Because his staff came to our SSCCC meeting a few months back to talk about this. And so my worry was, because I thought, because I always like to be skeptical about everything that I hear. And, so I asked him about the funding, because I knew there was $1 billion, there's gonna be a lot of money left over if not all of these scholarships or the money's dispersed. And so when I was told that the rest of the money, anything that is left over is going to go into Cal Grant funding, that answered my question. But that's why I wasn't sure about it, so I was like, wait a minute, there's gonna be a lot more money, where is it gonna go? Who's it gonna go to? And that was my main concern, because so many people always wanna take a chunk of the pie. And when I was told that, I thought, wow, there really isn't anything that I can see that is wrong with this, except, that there may be a problem with getting the Senate.
Okay. The chair's gonna recognize someone a couple of people that said they know a con for this, Kendra and then James.
Yeah, I spoke with a gentleman actually who, he is opposed to this bill, and his main reason is the economic impact, that if we, even though ethically there's nothing wrong with it, if we do impose, take back these tax breaks and remove those loopholes that corporations might leave, I find that unrealistic, because that would mean they have to stop doing business in California entirely, and being the largest state in the nation, and I don't think that'd be a very smart business move for them. But that is one of the big concerns, that if they leave, that the revenue will actually go down as it is right now rather than go up. I mean, we won't be getting anything out of it, and we'll be drinking.
And they wouldn't be leaving, because they're already left. They're out-of-state corporations, so they'd actually just.
I mean, like leave entirely.
They would take their business elsewhere, so to speak, which is absurd.
And I don't know how many of you read the resolution, but 5 of those companies, Chrysler is one of them. Can you really imagine
Chrysler's not gonna say,
stop
we're not
selling
gonna serve
cars in
California.
California? Not really. James, you also have a con, please?
That really is the con right there. If you are in favor of these tax loopholes, that's really, that'd be the biggest selling point for saying, no, we can't do the middle class scholarship. That's just the bottom line.
Thank you very much. Okay, I saw you. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. I'll
My
get to
name
know
is
you all,
Bianca
hopefully.
from American River College,
Okay, thank
and
you.
although I don't know the political views of this, I can tell you from personal experience that my family got me to middle class, and I'm proud of that. And I
have a really, like, personally, I have a really difficult time, with college and affording it because I don't qualify for FAFSA and I don't qualify for FOP. So like, and school is expensive, so even in college. So I just want to say I hope you guys support it because then me getting supported will mean me getting back to the community. So.
Okay, I'm gonna take one more question on this, and I'm not sure which one of you ladies it was in the row right behind her that had their hand up earlier. Is it you, no? Okay, Kevin, we'll take one more last question.
Yeah, I think on the most fundamental level, expressing what I feel, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So if these corporations do get taxed, I think the people are the people who are gonna have to pay for it, which is what the two questions were over here. Push comes to shove, it comes down to, is everybody okay with chipping in a small amount for the morality of those who don't have it or weren't born to wealth to be able to prosper? And that's what it comes down to, really. Because really, if you tax a corporation, the corporation is not going to take a loss. The corporation, as we all take economics, whether you're Friedanist or Keynesian theory, they will pass that cost on to consumers. Undoubtedly, the prices will go somewhat higher. So it's really a morality issue at this point. And everybody needs to really think about whether or not they support the idea of being born into wealth or being born into, having a fighting chance per se.
And I agree with you about the economics, but we have to remember we're not doing anything that wasn't in the past, just in 2009, was already being done. So we're not imposing a new tax, we're just taking back. We're saying, here, we got this break for a few years, now we're taking this break
Sure,
back.
like if a taco was 89
But
cents
it's the
before,
same,
it's 99
right.
now. It's gonna go back up to,
Yeah,
$1.10.
right, but yeah, they'll try to find it.
I had said this, but we were gonna take any more comments. I know that this is one of those topics that can be debated, and hopefully it will be on the floor when the resolution comes up. But because of our time constraints, I'd like to go ahead and entertain a motion on this issue. Either to support
Can I,
or-
before we do the motion, can I read the resolution?
Oh, please, I'm sorry. I tried to pass out a copy, I don't know if everybody got one.
Share. Share.
You did, in my room, I thought I did.
Is this the same resolution as this one?
So, yeah, so I'm assuming then that our motion is to accept.
It should be this one.
I just wanted to give somebody else one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Anybody else need one? No.
We're just members.
Share.
It looks like this is what you're reading?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. This is not the same one.
It's not.
There was there was
Oh, that's the one that,
there was a resolution that was written out and I redid it in the, I fine-tuned it, so to speak, so I edited it, et cetera. So this is the resolution that we have, and I'm gonna read it out loud, yes?
Is that resolution inside the packet?
Yeah, no, that's the one I fine-tuned.
Yeah.
Because it was really kind of, it needed some editing. Not because of the content of what it said, just because of grammatical errors and a little bit too much.
Thank you.
So the one in here is the correct one, or the
That's the one that we'll be voting on.
This is
the one that we'll be presenting to,
You wanna come up and read?
Senator Perez,
You wanna come up?
Assemblyman Perez, just from our region, say, I guess we have I still haven't entertained an motion yet,
Can we read that and then entertain a motion?
well, that's in support of it,
That's in
so.
support of it. Yeah, okay.
So I need a motion in support of it if we're gonna,
Well, we'll read this and then,
Okay.
then
Go ahead.
do the motion to support.
Okay.
Please, Chair, thank you. Thanks.
anything for you.
Whereas California has long promised affordable higher education for residents, a promise that brought forth innovation and prosperity for decades. And whereas the promise of affordable higher education is in jeopardy, partly due to large fee increases at the California universities, state universities, and community colleges. And whereas financial aid programs have expanded to mitigate the impacts of the fee increases for lower income families. And whereas middle-class families do not qualify for financial aid programs and are forced to choose between staggering levels of student loans or not attending college. And whereas corporate tax law changes in 2009 provided $1 billion in annual tax breaks to out-of-state corporations to the competitive disadvantage of California businesses. And whereas the Middle Class Scholarship Act will decrease student fees for middle-class families by 2/3 and pays for the scholarships by rescinding the $1 billion tax benefit provided to out-of-state corporations. And whereas the Middle Class Scholarship Act will save 42,000 UC students nearly $8,200 per year, will save 150,000 CSU students $4,000 per year, and will provide $150 million to community colleges to improve affordability. And whereas the Middle Class Scholarship Act will make higher education affordable in California again from a dedicated funding source and will go entirely to improving the quality of the system. Now therefore be it resolved that assisting to keep the promise of affordable higher education in California, Region 2 supports AB 1500 and AB 1501, the Middle Class Scholarship Act.
So, now, I will entertain a motion.
I move to support resolution.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to support signing this resolution and to present to Assemblyman Perez. All of the delegates, I'm gonna ask for a standing vote so that we're all getting the delegates. And stand and raise your badge if you are, yes, please. In support.
Can you write?
Any, okay, thank you. Delegates that are opposed? Seeing, any abstentions? Seeing none, I think we have any.
One.
Abstention? Okay. Thank you. That passes.
Okay, great.
Okay. And I want everyone to keep in mind, just to put it out there, you vote as your college wants you to. Now, just because we're supporting it as a region, each college has a voice when we're on the floor. And please vote as your college would have you vote. You know, just because we decided to support it as a region doesn't mean that you have to go against what your constituents want, okay? So I will be signing this and we will be presenting it to Assemblyman Perez. The little petition, if you would, fill it out. I've got a corner on the table here. Fill it out before you leave at some point and put it up here on the end of the table. We'll also be presenting those to him. Okay? Thank you.
Can we get them passed out?
Yeah, I already passed them out.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah, I passed them out early. Did everybody get one?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Those are signed. I have it. No, these are signed, yeah. I have the extras. Were there any extras?
There's some in those little,
Oh, in here.
in there. Yeah.
Oh. Thank you. Oh, you got, okay, yeah. There you go. Thanks. All right.
We didn't bring our sex in.
Nope.
Then pick it up.
We're up, so we don't have to suspend, so you guys wanna set this back up?
Can we suspend this?
What's this one for?
Suspend it, where I go. Okay.
I'd like to nominate LaDanya for comm officer.
Second.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. I have LaDanya. Is there anyone else that
LaDanya
would
Reed,
like
sorry.
to nominate someone for communications officer? Seeing none, do you wanna give a quick shout out?
Shout out. My name is LaDanya Reed. I'm from Sacramento City College, and I've been participating in Region 2 and also the SSCCC since 2009. Pretty much what I do, whether I'm a member of the student government or not, I always disseminate information. So anytime I get anything from anybody, you're gonna get it. I'm one of those people, you can't blame a student for not doing certain things if they don't have the information to do so. And I'm also one of those people that I blame myself if I don't get that information out to the students because I am a student leader. So, I don't know, I'm just really, Debbie would call me, what'd you call me?
My mistress of information.
I'm very transparent. So basically, if I know it, you're gonna know it, and then if I don't know it, I'm gonna find out, and I'm gonna get you an answer. I don't know what to say.
You're persistent.
Yeah, I don't take no for an answer. I really don't.
So delegates, all those in favor of Mrs. Reed becoming our communications officer, please raise your badge. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, Thank you and welcome aboard. Okay. Now I'm going to entertain nominations, and I guess we will hold the elections at our next, and before this is over, I guess we'll decide when our next, region meeting is. But for the new upcoming year, guess I'll start with region chair. So, are there any nominations for a region chair from any member of the body nominate?
I have a motion to.
Information.
Yeah. Do we even know who's interested, so that we can, because I don't know who's interested in any position.
Well, if you nominate them, they can decline.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I need a point of clarification too, as chair. Can any member of the body nominate, or does it have to be delegates?
I think that's the challenge is,
So we're just nominating okay, sorry, we're just nominating right now, then we're not voting on it, so.
Changes in our bylaws?
Can I give a suggestion?
I suggest, yeah, sure.
If you are interested in a position, state that you're interested in a position, and then if a delegate chooses to nominate you, then they can nominate you at this point.
Okay, now my suggestion is that we suspend the order of the day, go to the bylaws changes where it changes that back. And then we can move forward.
Oh, I like that.
I motion to suspend the orders of the day and go straight to bylaws amendments.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to suspend the order of the day, moving, to item 6.3 on the agenda. All those in favor, no, because we suspended the order, added a one.
To change,
and,
yeah.
and moved everything down in the order when we put it in the class scholarships. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, you vote? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna move to the bylaws changes, and then that way you go back and conduct the other business. Any of the executive officers and the delegates, and non-voting can, yes.
Yes, I just wanted to point out that the ARC delegate will be here in just a quick second.
Okay, so
Thank you.
we don't have quorum?
would you like me to call it out since I was
Yeah,
out
please.
first? Okay, Mendocino. Present. Folsom Lake. Napa Valley.
Yeah.
American River. That's on our way.
Yes.
Yuba. Sac City.
Here.
Solano.
Present.
Lake Tahoe. Present. Woodland Community. Casumis. Sierra. ARC. Present.
All right, we do have quorum, so we're gonna move on. We are on item 6.3, which was prior 6.2, bylaws changes. This time we'll be taking the vote on proposed changes to Region 2 bylaws. I'm gonna give it about 5 minutes. Hopefully most of I made sure that the delegates had copies of this. We've been discussing it. It was up on our Facebook page. So hopefully everybody is aware of them. Would you like to take over now, Mr. Vice Chair?
Okay, the reason we're doing these bylaw changes, one is because our current structure doesn't allow the bylaws, or should I say the Constitution, to be changed without going through the bylaws actually first. And we need to make it easier to amend our Constitution and our bylaws with the changing times and not so hard. Plus we added some positions because we want more student involvement in the region and not just to have a few executive officers sitting on the board and just a few senators. So we're trying to expand and get more participation from the other schools also. So we figure if we added a few more positions, we'd get more participation. More participation. Okay, so this is an amendment to Article 4, Section 1 of our current bylaws. Basically, what we're trying to do, we added 3 students, because last year we only had 2 regional senators. This year we have 3. We also had the chair, the vice chair, the secretary. We added a finance officer, advocacy chair, and a legislative officer. Those positions will be spelled out later. It's a pretty long process trying to get information from all the schools and everybody else being involved. But they will be spelled out later. We're just trying to add these positions to the region so that we can have more participation. Next section. Basically, see, I don't even have the Constitution in front of me, which makes it hard. That's all right. I'm gonna let you guys read it. But each respective community college or region 2 shall have 1 voting and non-voting delegate to represent the constituents of their college. Regional senators and executive officers may function as delegates of their college with approval of their college's respective legislative boards. And what that means is that if someone from your school shows up and your delegate happens not to come, and your non-voting delegate happens not to come, you can give your president of the school that you come from, give them a call and ask their permission to be the delegate for that particular college. That way we can keep quorum and we can get business done. Section 4, Article 4, Section 1B. Each delegate, elected senator, or executive officer shall have 1 vote. The reason we put this in because currently our executive board doesn't have a vote at all. According to California state law, all students have the ability to vote. So we have to change this. We just expect, except for the president, unless there's a tie, to break the tie. But the president also still has the right to vote because that person is a student. We just ask them to exercise the right not to vote. Yes.
Doesn't that make an uneven amount of people who will be representing and voting per college then?
As
far as if there's a vote from each delegate and executive, say a college has 2 or 3 members on executive, which may not happen, may or may not happen, and then they have a delegate also, when they have 3 votes versus a college who only has 1 delegate, that would make it an uneven amount.
It could, but because the state law says that every student has the right to vote, we can't tell them that they don't have the right to vote.
In our constitution and bylaws, I believe that we can, because, except the chair, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
What if we cap the votes per college?
I think it should stay.
Does any other region restrict how many students from each college can be on the region board?
Not that I know, I'm not aware of.
I don't think we can restrict what members are chosen because they have the right to run for an election if they're nominated. So we can't restrict those people that are trying to participate. The only thing we can do is ask that people keep integrity and not try to filibuster the business. Things like that. But we can't take away the right for students to vote because it is state law that everyone gets a vote if they're a part of the board. The only way to address it is we have to have a checks and balances somewhere. The only thing we do is that's why we ask the president to exercise the right not to vote unless there is a tie. And hopefully we'll get more participation and it'll be more than just 4 or 5 schools, running for positions. Hopefully we can get all 12 schools in the region to run for positions. Then, we won't have to worry about that.
Can we go back and I think that maybe we should do each of the amendments one at a time and vote if that's okay with the body? Okay, so the first one was to add a finance officer as I can't say that word.
Advocacy.
Chair and a legislative officer. A brief outline of where we are trying to go with that. If the district has a treasurer or a finance department, our region has a finance department, and funds, then maybe some of the smaller schools that have trouble sending a delegate to GA, we may be able to provide a scholarship. We would be able to do more team building and possibly fundraising and funds for schools to make it to, because our region meetings we hold at different schools, and so, you know, possibly making it more accessible for some of the schools to participate. So that's the reason for finance department. Advocacy is because I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna adopt that today, or if we get to it tomorrow, as a part of the SSCCC's mission to advocate. I know most of our schools are close to the Capitol, and we do a lot of advocating, and so to have somebody that is from our region that is a go-to point for like march information and whatever, right in our region would be a great thing. The ledge officer would be the person that when the advocacy chair gets a bill from the Capitol or whatever that affects education, they can give it to the legislator. He can make sure that, you know, and assimilate it to all of the different members of the region, and, you know, work on whatever we need to do. It's that far as that goes. I'm talking in gibberish now. Sorry.
Angela Miller, Sacramento City College. Wouldn't the advocacy chair and the legislative officer, couldn't that just be combined into one position?
Good. We try to take the workload off one person. And
It just
split
seems
up.
like it's more of the same.
Redundant, because the advocacy chair would be more of a person that could, you know, that person can go to those committee meetings at the Capitol, or can delegate someone else to do it, because our senators do a lot of work. And, you know, it'll take some of the workload off of them, and, you know, they won't have to worry about calling someone to see who's gonna go to those sub-budget committee meetings,
But would
things
the
like that. because they're
communications
at
officer,
communications officer is
With a similar
basically, you know, put up all the information on the Facebook, put up all the information on, you know, get all the emails out, contact all the delegates, things like that, as well as the non-voting delegates. And the legislative officer would bring the information from that, would get the information from the advocacy chair, especially if there are certain bills coming up. That person can go through the language of those bills, find out how it will affect the students, and then get that information back to the region, and then we can go back and forth. That's Katie.
So one of the things that is proposed to change that I was going to talk about in my report is the Strategic Planning Committee for the SSCCC has been working on some restructuring within the organization, and one of the things that they're looking towards doing is having one of our 3 regional senators do external advocacy. So that might change some of the other things that we're looking at. So be prepared for that change along the line. So we may have one person dedicated exclusively for that. But keep in mind that this may not happen right away. Each thing is on a 1, 3, and 5-year plan. And I think that part is on a 3-year plan, if I'm correct. It's listed over there. It's on that computer.
Oh, okay.
Did we state that we don't have descriptions for all 3 yet?
Yes.
Not yet.
So I would be concerned with adding this to the bylaws without the descriptions quite yet, and I would like to motion to refer them back to the bylaws committee.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to refer this back to the bylaws committee. All of those in favor?
Can we,
It passes. Okay, I should have clarified.
I would like to make a motion to amend that motion to sending it back to the bylaws committee with the intent of adding the descriptions of advocacy chair, finance officer, and legislative officer.
I second that.
Okay, so we want to amend it now to send it back to the bylaws committee with the job descriptions outlined. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, we're good. Huh? So, are we going?
You guys wanna go forward?
Um,
You wanna send the whole thing back
Are we sending just that section or the whole thing back to the,
The amendment was defining
the job description?
the
Okay,
job
yes, so we're
descriptions
moving
of
forward.
finance officer, legislative officer, and advocacy chair to define
So
their
what was our
position.
next one?
Just right here. Article 4, Section 180.
Okay. Each respective community college of Region 2 shall have one voting and one non-voting delegate to represent the constituents of their college. Regional senators and executive officers may function as delegates of the college with the approval of their college's respective legislative boards. Any questions, discussion on that one real quick?
Yeah, my only concern is that some of our regional campuses have the executive officer or the president of the campus has the authority to appoint a delegate or a non-voting delegate. So if you refer it to the legislative boards, is that appropriate for, does that allow for the president to still do that, or would it
Yes.
mean that the board would do it still?
No, okay, this
There.
is like if we're in a meeting and the voting, non-voting delegate hasn't shown up. A lot of times when we get to a meeting, one of their executive officers is here, but the voting and non-voting delegate isn't. A lot of times we've placed a call to the president to okay that executive officer to act as their voting delegate, so that we can still conduct business. So this is what this is addressing. It's just outlining it in our bylaws. Does that clear it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I move to amend respective legislative boards to president.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to amend it to read, instead of legislative boards,
Senate President.
Senate presidents. Is that,
You need a piece of paper.
oh, a good one. Okay, so, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
That would go against individual campus bylaws and constitution, because some campuses presidents don't have the authority to do that on point.
I didn't know that a campus didn't do that, so.
Yeah, because that's like,
I'll rescind
Some-
my motion if you can tell me one college. that doesn't do it.
I can do research and get back to you on that, but I can't tell you on point.
Can you just put in or president?
That works.
yeah. Or,
Sorry, I don't have Wi-Fi.
Can we ask an advisor that's in here attending? Would they know?
Question, it's a question.
A question about if there are AS presidents who aren't allowed to tell a delegate, or if a delegate is absent, and appoint a delegate in their absence
The pres-
Can a delegate be appointed in their absence?
by the AS president. Can a delegate be appointed by the AS president in the voting delegate's absence?
We don't have, that's law, we don't have anything in our laws that actually prevent that from occurring.
Right.
But there could be other colleges that do, and so I can't speak to other colleges, I can only speak to what we do.
I'm pretty sure that most colleges, their president has the right to delegate and make ad hoc committees and ambassadors and whatever else as a part of their constitution, so I think we'd be okay there.
According to our constitution and bylaws, we actually have a voting delegate, non-voting delegate, and we also, the president himself or herself is our alternate delegate. But I don't think there's anything I don't believe there's anything in our constitution and bylaws that prevents the president from saying, okay, since our delegates could not make it, or whatever executive is on the region board can. So I don't believe that we have anything dissimilar.
Any other immediate discussion?
For Napa Valley College, our constitution doesn't restrict any appointing to delegates. So.
I'm American River College, and that's the same, and I also agree with the advisor for Solano. Yeah, that one, we wouldn't know, we don't, I wish we were all knowing, but we're not in that sense. But that we can only really speak to what we have at our college, and that ARC, that is.
Oh, you went to another region meeting?
Call a question?
It has been called to question. All those in favor of calling the motion to adopt this with the amended change to read legislative boards or president, please show your badges now. Okay, so it has been called to question. All those in favor of adopting this amendment change, please raise your badge now. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Okay, we're at,
1B, right?
1B now, that was 1A.
oh, okay, sorry. Oh, each delegate, elected senator, and executive officer, well, I thought I just read that.
No, that was.
Oh, shall have one vote at all region meetings except the chair, who shall forego his or her right to vote except in cases of a tie. If the delegate is not available, the non-voting delegate shall exercise the right to vote in his or her absence. Executive officers may vote for general administrative business with the exception of elections. So, I will entertain a motion to either accept or,
I would like to make a motion that it reads each delegate, or I would like to make a motion to amend and,
Point of order.
what?
Oh, I don't mean to be interrupting or anything, but
No, it's good.
Robert's Rule of Order states that to make a motion is I move to, not like.
Oh, okay, sorry. I move to, that's right, you know, and a parliamentarian caught me on that the other day too. I'm trying to be too polite, I guess. I move to make an amendment so that the Article 4, Section 1B reads, each delegate with elected senator and executive officer crossed out shall have one vote at the region meetings and except the chair, who shall forego, et cetera, and then have the last statement, the executive officers may vote for general administrative, crossed out, stricken.
then we're going back to the way it was.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, well then,
So I have a motion, do I hear a second? So the motion does not carry, or does not be heard. Okay, so now do I have a motion to either adopt or
What?
reject?
I move that it states each delegate, elected senator, and executive officer shall have one vote at all Region 2 meetings, except the chair, who shall vote in the case of a tie.
Let's
Because
clean it.
the chair does not have the right to vote except in case of a tie.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to clean the language and have it read, will you repeat it?
Who shall vote in the case of a tie?
Does everybody hear that?
Mhm.
Who shall vote in the case of a tie?
Mhm.
Okay, so we're gonna vote on the amendment. All those in favor of amending the language to read, who shall vote in the...
objection,
Second.
objection. Can we have a discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The floor is open for discussion, I have the motion and the second, sorry. Jenny?
I believe the official language should be make or break tie. That's the official language, I believe, in the Robert's Rule or Brown Act for the chair. So if you want to make it, just make it transparent. So I will recommend somebody to make that transition just so we're transparent with the rules.
Isn't that language already in the bylaws, in a separate section?
No, not in ours, she's like, you want to, okay.
I just wanted to ask, so Jenny, would you be asking it to state who shall make or break the tie?
No, I meant the chair shall only vote in case of, shall only vote to make or break a tie.
To make a tie?
Make or break.
That's,
Yeah, you can make them
that's
break.
just the official language.
Mhm.
That's supposed to be.
Okay.
So-
So I rescind my motion, or actually we're in discussion, so I can't.
Okay, so I would like to ask all of you voting delegates about this and to rethink your vote in supporting this, because what this is doing is it's giving an uneven amount of votes for the colleges. The executive office, if the executive office has several members, or executive officers, if the executive council has several members from one specific college on it, then that college is gonna get an uneven amount of votes, and each college will not have a fair amount of votes. Okay? And I believe the way we do it now is just for each college has a voting delegate and gets to
I have a
vote, so
question.
there's one per. And I believe that's the fair way to run this, our region.
What was the purpose of the last sentence, anyway? I mean, where it says vote for general, what administrative business?
That would be, business that's on the agenda, but not during the elections. Because only the delegates can vote people into office,
Mm.
not the executive members.
So it would be for general business, such as the bylaws change, what we're voting on now and working on now, bylaws changes and things like that, administratively.
You know, like when the March is coming up. that type of
But I
stuff.
mean, wouldn't that still stay to the delegates so everybody is even with one vote from each school?
Well, that's what we're discussing now.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? 'Cause I'm gonna wrap this up here real quick in a minute. One, Shanesh and then Kiera, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Would this have any effect on quorum at all? No?
No.
Okay.
I just wanna make sure I understand, if I state who shall forego his or her right to make or break a tie, would that address the issue? Okay, can I move to amend it to state what I just said, lose
Okay.
my voice.
So we have a motion to amend the language to comply with Robert's Rules of Order. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to change the language to say who shall
Who shall forego his or her right to make,
or
I'm
break.
sorry, who shall forego or his, her right to vote to make or break or tie?
Yeah, what she said. All those in favor of the amendment?
Do you have a second?
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
All right, so that,
Oh, you too.
is everybody clear on what the language is gonna say now?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna,
Oh,
yes.
Not a question on that, question for the second half of that. Have we moved past that motion? Have we concluded that motion?
Yes, we have.
Okay, I have a question on the second half of this particular amendment. Do the bylaws and the Constitution state that voting members have a right to proxy with other non-voting members or with other delegates who are present?
No.
No, okay, because Robert's, it just sounds like a proxy. If I'm reading it incorrectly, please let me know. It sounds like you're giving the delegate the right to have someone else vote in his or her absence, which sounds like a
Oh,
proxy.
no. In this, the non-voting, delegate does have the right, and that's the reason for non-voting, is that if the voting delegate is not present, then the non-voting delegate steps up and becomes the voting delegate.
Okay,
So
there's
it's not proxy.
It's not a proxy?
No,
Alright.
no, it's not. Is everybody clear on that one? Okay, so I'm gonna call this a question. All those in, I can't even remember my original motion. We had such good discussion here. All those in favor of adopting the bylaws change to Article 4, Section 1B, please raise your badge at this time.
that's amended.
Opposed? Abstentions? It does pass. Okay. Okay.
So how's it gonna read? I mean, because you just
have it,
ma-
right? You have this proposed change?
Amendment,
Yeah.
Yes.
just, the amendment will be who shall vote, who shall forego his or her right to vote.
No, the entire thing. The entire thing.
Okay, each delegated elected senator or executive officer shall have one vote at all Region 2 meetings except the chair who shall forego his or her right to make or break a tie. The delegate is not available, a non-voting delegate shall exercise the right to vote in his or her absence. Executive officers may vote in general administrative business with the exception of elections.
So that's still gonna stay?
Yeah, that's what we.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on now. Article 4,
You have another question?
I move to revote.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I move to revisit the vote.
okay.
The original motion.
I have a motion to revisit the vote. Do I have a second?
A second.
Oh, I forgot I can vote now.
I have a motion and a second to revisit the vote on,
Point of order, so, do we have quorum? I noticed that 2 delegates won't.
I'm non-voting, so we're fine as far as.
One second, okay. So, okay. So now, we read it again as it's supposed to be now. Like, I'm like, really confusing people, don't think much. It's like,
Okay, I need glasses.
you want mine?
Thanks, I'm strong.
The top person.
Okay,
Oh,
go
please, okay, we're gonna let, Kiara read it.
My original motion with the amendment was to simply change who shall forego his or her right to make or break a tie. That's the only thing that changed.
Okay, so does everybody have that?
I don't like it though.
Yes.
I have a suggestion since we're having such an issue with the wording here. Can we refer this to bylaws and come back with it later? Because I have been told that most of the other regions are already on resolutions.
Okay, so.
It's not an issue with the wording, it's an issue with the executive officers.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'd like to make a motion for the entire bylaws to be referred back to the committee.
A second.
I have a motion and a second to refer the entire bylaws changed back to committee, and then to be brought back at our next region meeting. All those in, any discussion? All those in favor of referring the bylaws changes back to the bylaws committee, please raise your badge at this
I
time.
don't have mine.
Okay, we're done with 2 sections. All right.
Just one
I
thing.
voted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't call for oppositions. Any abstentions? Okay, we're, okay.
I just got one more thing. Okay, you guys, I know some of you guys responded when the emails go out and stuff, but when the committee works on it, we try to email everybody. So if we don't have you on the email list, please leave your name and everything else like that so that you can get
I need
input.
some paper.
It's not just for the delegates, take it to your boards, take it to your legislative officers,
Just
campus,
use your-
whatever, and look at everything and send in all your suggestions so that the committee can work on everybody's
No,
suggestions.
just, no,
create
use the
a
whole
copy,
thing.
send it back out.
No, don't rip it out.
That way, this whole process will be a whole lot smoother.
So did everybody get that? Delegates and, cause you're the ones responsible for informing your respective boards and keeping them informed. It's also for those of you who are not delegates that are interested in the process. It's always posted, everything we do is posted on our Facebook page, at some point. We'll hopefully we'll have that where it'll be going up right away. There are links on our Facebook page to the advocacy things and whatever that's going on in the area, so please, if you're not a member, join us.
I have a quick question from everybody. While we're sitting around this sign-in sheet to collect information, does anybody have any objection to me sending this information to everybody in here, like numbers, emails, or anything like that? Okay.
If, I was gonna say, if you have an objection, put a star next
Yeah.
to your name. Okay, we're gonna move on to 6.4, resolutions. This is the time for the region will hear any resolution.
Point of order. We actually suspended the orders of the day to go to bylaws. We were on elections and we were.
Yes, we were.
Oh, thank you. Okay, we're going back to, elections and nominations.
I have a nomination.
Okay, at this time, I will entertain nominations.
I have a nomination.
Why didn't you sign it?
We will do region chair first, I guess.
It's region 2, period. Doesn't matter.
Okay, oh yeah, I'm sorry, wait a minute, I'm sorry.
I want it for me.
All those that are interested in being region chair, please stand at this time so that we know who you are. We have Kendra Pring from American River College, and we have Kiara Roby, sorry, from American River College. So that's, okay, so now you know who's interested in being region chair. Now I will entertain your
I would like
nomination.
to